cannot escape the conclusion that GATE is, indeed, an instrument of elitism in a town that is shockingly obsessed with academic
I will
status.
have no problem opting out of it, no matter how intelligent my daughter proves to be. My choice will be easy.
This misinformed attitude creates unneeded hostility to GATE
It
classes.
is, therefore, incorrect to assert that all children are gifted.
Like it or not, there are intelligent and unintelligent kids in our community. I'm sorry, but get used to it.
There is no inherent advantage to being gifted, and in many cases, the more highly gifted they are, the more they are at
These
risk.
students stick out in the regular classroom and can be socially marginalized. These students are especially well served in a self-contained GATE class.
Students at DHS all have a unique GATE experience which molds their opinion of the program.
So I started GATE in 4th grade, and I thought it was a valuable experience in that we really were required to do higher thinking at a younger age.
Okay, so I moved to Davis in 8th grade. I was just in like regular classes, but they weren't like hard enough. And I was just kind of like, okay, you know, like this is weird, you know. And so I decided to take the GATE test. And I just like barely was qualified as GATE.
Okay, so in 3rd grade I tested for GATE and failed, so that kind of sucked. But then in 6th grade, at the end of 6th, I tested, got into GATE, and for me it was just kind of like, it didn't really mean too much to me. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm in GATE now, I don't really know what this means, I guess I'm GATE identified. But I decided to go to Emerson just because, you know, they said they had like a GATE program. I don't really know if it actually was GATE.
I think it's beneficial for some people. I think some people think differently, and that's what the GATE program was for. It was so that people who, I guess, were kind of bored with the regular teaching, like, you know, it was more concrete with the regular teaching, whereas I think the GATE program was more abstract in thinking, and it kind of challenged kids who already kind of understood the concrete ideas.
Okay.
I personally wanted to be in the GATE program just because I thought it was a better, I came from a private school and I'd heard about how GATE offered kind of like critical thinking, and it was more project based, and I liked that, so I really wanted to be in the GATE program.
And do you think it was a good experience for you personally?
Yeah, because before I was very bored in 3rd and 2nd grade. Most of the time I just slacked around. But yeah.
Honestly, like if I had to go back and redo it, I don't think I would do GATE again, because I just feel like it's too selective of like a process. I don't think that it really like does help the truly GATE kids, because I feel like it's just all the kids that like are seeking those like pre-AP classes end up in the GATE classes instead of the kids who truly need the GATE style learning. And I think that if Davis offered like honors or pre-AP classes in middle school, that it would like have a better outcome than GATE classes.
And do you think GATE like has influenced you to take AP and honors classes and everything?
I do. I think that by taking the GATE program in elementary school and junior high, I felt more encouraged by my peers to take more higher level classes than if I hadn't taken the GATE program.
Definitely. It challenged me a lot more, and I challenged myself a lot more by taking AP classes and art classes.
No, it had absolutely no effect whatsoever. It was just kind of like, honestly, I don't think I learned anything extra by being in GATE. It didn't really affect any of my decisions. It just kind of put a label on me, which didn't really do anything for me. You know, that's basically it.
One of the most controversial questions concerning the program is how should students be identified for GATE. The current system is far from perfect, and a fair system that identifies all students who'd benefit from GATE is yet to be found.
All students received the test, and then when we did that, then obviously we were going to find more students that were eligible for it. Because it's a paper and pencil test, it may not be the best way, but they felt for them, because it's expensive to, we have to have money to be able to purchase the test and implement it. They felt that the cost effectiveness that it was the best model to be able to reach as many students as possible.
The GATE test, I don't even remember the GATE test, but a test is probably a good idea, like to test how they think, instead of, I don't even remember the test, but if it was a test on how they think, like abstractly or more concrete, then it's probably a better test than, I don't know what.
I actually had to retest to get into GATE. The first time I took the test, I got 94th percentile, and you need to be in the 95th. So I had to retest, and it was kind of a hassle, and I don't really think a test determines whether or not someone should be in GATE. I think if someone wants to be in GATE and challenge their thinking, similar to an honors like AP class, I think that they should be allowed to be in the GATE program.
Do you think everyone who wants to be in it should be able to be in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens if like too many people want to be in it?
I don't necessarily. I think it's kind of a self-selection thing because I think that some people it's not for them. So I, in some regards, I think that not everyone would want to be in the program, but maybe it would add a few more students, but I don't think that's necessarily harmful.
In a school district where such a high proportion of kids would qualify for GATE, up to 30% of students in any one year, I think if you can give a program like that to 30% of students, you should give it to all of them.
Mm-hmm. Another controversial point is on how the GATE system is implemented. Is the self-contained model the best model? Some research published in the Enterprise suggests that it is, that schools with self-contained GATE saw higher test score improvements for all students than schools with mixed-style classrooms. Others believe that we should experiment with other models.
Some of the question was about the controversy. There are some people who have concern with our model of implementation. They're worried about the self-contained model, that has an effect on the students in that classroom and that they don't have a broad exposure to all different kinds of students. That is a little too narrow of a view of the world. There's people who think that when you self-contain a group of students, the classroom looks much different from when you remove those students. So that those are considerations also, and I hope in race and social justice you're talking about those kind of things.
I intensely dislike how it's administered in Davis because I think it's a form of academic tracking. I think it's tracking that's done by in part by parents' finances.
But I don't think that the segregation between GATE and non-GATE was necessary.
The biggest concern in Davis is the social undertone that the program brings, labeling some students as gifted and others as not. The elitism suggested in the title is the reason for the name change to AIM, a title that suggests a different education style, but not a better education.
Well, it's not supposed to be better. It's supposed to be more appropriate. So it's supposed to be a different kind of approach for different kind of thinking.
It just kind of is weird because there are like people in the class that had this stuck up mentality about being GATE identified, and I didn't really think it was that big of a deal to be GATE identified.
I don't think not being in GATE signifies that you're not smart. I know plenty of people who didn't do the GATE program who were very smart, but at a time like elementary school and junior high where people weren't in GATE, they might not have been considered as bright as the GATE students. So.
I think that it's how people think that gets them into GATE, not their background.
I don't think it's really necessary to keep around. It's why separate the education that different students can get?
Well, I think they should keep the GATE program to an extent, but I think that they should also offer honors classes or higher level classes at the elementary and middle school levels, so that the kids who truly are GATE can be in those classes, but the kids who are just in the GATE classes because they want to be challenged can find a different way to take classes that will be harder.
I think it is a good program. I don't know much about the test, but I do think it's not based on people's backgrounds. It's based on how they think. And that really is what separates GATE classes from regular classes.
When people call or write me and say, I want to talk about GATE, I say, I don't know if your camera lens is wide enough. Where are you? Are you over here? Or are you over here? Because people generally feel very strongly about it. They think GATE is a great program that is appropriate and provides an education that is necessary for a student, and some people think that it's ruining the Davis School District and had a very negative effect on their own child or on other people's children.
There is still lots to be discussed and settled when concerning GATE, but in the end, the community must come together and decide what's best for our children's education.